Hi, and welcome everybody. Thanks guys for being here. It's an honor to speak here in Kiev, first time here. So thanks for having me. In the next 20 minutes, I'll be talking about Kickstarter, the do's and the don'ts, what should you do, how can you get on Kickstarter, what crowdfunding possibilities are out there, and why can I do that? Well, we had a Kickstarter campaign from July till August this year. And during in these 4 weeks, we were able to raise $558,000 for our game Shadowrun Online. Yeah, and I want to tell you a little bit about what went wrong, and a lot of things went wrong, but also what went right. I mean, at least we made it, so something must have gone right, and yeah, all the other stuff that comes with it. A few facts about our Shadowrun campaign. Like I said, mid-July to mid-August 2012. First tip, don't do that. Don't do it in summer. People are on holidays. People don't read their mails. People don't are not on the web browsing it for new Kickstarter opportunities or stuff like that. So don't do it. Either do it in spring or in fall. Also, most of the people check the Kickstarter thing at work. So you get most of the donations from 8 till 5, so nothing in the evening, which also is shows that people on holiday just don't do that. Our funding goal was $500,000, pretty high, but then in the end we knew that we needed at least that, so we could have gone lower, then it would have been more likely to actually succeed. But yeah, we said, okay, we need that because if we end up with 300,000, then we still have to make the game, although we know it will cost us more. So we chose actually what we needed. We reached about 10% more. We had 6,000 backers, and the average pledge level was $93, which is really high. So we broke a couple of records back then. So I think we're still in the top 15, but there were a couple of really great Kickstarter projects in the last couple of weeks. So we might be on number 16 now, but back then, we were the 15th most funded video games project on Kickstarter. It was the most funded from continental Europe, so there were only guys from the UK in front of us, but we were the best non-English speaking project, and we have the highest average pledge level of all digital games. Usually, the normal pledge level is between $30 and $40, and we had $93. How we did do that? Well, a lot of work. So we had, for example, 2 people on the day shift, 2 people on the night shift, because one of the things was that we answer every message within 1 hour. And in the end, we had 6,000 backers. We answered about 4,000 different messages. So basically, to 2/3 of our backers, we had a one-to-one relationship. We had a one-to-one exchange. And that's how we actually then managed that community management in the end, made it possible to get that high. Maybe just before we get into details, a little bit about myself. My name is Michael PAECK. I'm the managing director of Cliffhanger Productions. We were founded 2006. I've been in the games industry for over 15 years now. I've been the producer of the Gothic series, Risen, Risen 2, Spellforce. We have a development studio since 2010, and we develop multi-platform games for more mature core gamers. So first title is Jack the Lions Online, a reboot of the quite famous 90s series, and our current team size is 30 people. Okay, the first choice, if you want to go for crowdfunding, which platform are you going to use? Well, I'll just talk about the 2 big ones, because there's a myriad of them out there now, because it's quite trendy now. So Kickstarter, that's the brand. Even people immediately think of, when they think of crowdfunding, they immediately think of Kickstarter. So it will be more likely to get more money on Kickstarter. Indiegogo is a little bit the indie choice at the moment, and also the name is Indiegogo. So where are the differences? Well, the difference is that Kickstarter is currently mandatory US, so you need somebody from the US to actually get on there. And Indiegogo can have projects from everywhere. Also, Kickstarter has the all or nothing model. So if you say like $500,000 and you don't make it, you get nothing. If you get over the 500,000, then you get the money. With Indiegogo, it's a little bit different. Well, they say they have also the all or nothing model, but if you fail, you can still take the money, but then Indiegogo gets 9% instead of just 4%. That's also done. But then that's the problem. I mean, you get less money because you didn't make your goal, and then Indiegogo also takes more of your money. So it's kind of a little bit shady deal. But yeah, 5% go to Kickstarter, 5% to Amazon payments. So you get 10% off. And Indiegogo, if you make it, it's a little bit less. So yeah, getting onto Kickstarter. Basically what they say is anyone from any country can create a Kickstarter project, but then there's evil Amazon payments, because Amazon payments requires you to have a US citizen with a permanent residence in the US and a social security number. You also need a US credit or debit card. We used an international credit card, but a US debit card, and a US phone number for automated verification. That's the easiest one because Skype offers these call-in numbers. So you just get a US number and then they call you and you can pick it up wherever you are. So that's the smallest problem. The thing is that even if you have a friend in the US that you could use, it's still a problem because if you get the money, like $100,000, that money comes in, it comes onto his account, and then he transfers all of that money immediately overseas. So Homeland Security will ring his bell, plus the IRS, so the financial institution in the US, Kickstarter will notify them if you make the money. So it will be very likely that he will go through a tax check, basically, and nobody really likes that. And it can be costly as well. So what we did is we created a US company, fairly easy. There are a couple of websites out there, mycorporation.com, and $2,500 after that, you are the owner of a Delaware company, for example, so it's fairly easy. But then you would still need the guy from the US. But he would only need to give his name and his social security number, so he will be the project owner and the owner of the Amazon account, but he will have nothing to do with the money, so he's safe. So that's why we created the company, to keep that guy safe. It will take some days for Amazon to prove your project. We did something wrong, and every step takes about 2 days. So 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, did something wrong, back to square one. And so after 1.5 weeks, we had it. But all in all, from tax research until we could hit the button, it was a 4-month procedure for us. So also setting up the company, all of that takes time. So really, that's why we started in summer. We wanted to start in May, but then it turned out to be summer because it took so long. So prepare yourself. What is it all about? Like I say, preparation, product and rewards, trustworthiness, virality, press, and community work. At first, why is preparation so important? Because the first days matter most. That's where you create your momentum. Here you can see, this is our curve, and this is the one from Ouya, the console, the Android console. And although they have 10 times, or not 20 times the money that we got, you still see the very same pattern. So the first day matters and the last day matter. And that's why you have to prepare so much for the first day. The first impression is really, really important. If you start off slow, it's very likely you won't make it. So, what should you consider for Kickstarter? At first, your product. Is your product really suited for Kickstarter? Kickstarter has a certain audience, which is slightly older than the usual gaming audience, like 25 plus, and they're more alternative. So if you have a game for kids, maybe not so good idea. If you have a game solely for women, maybe not so good idea. The best genres and types of games are PC games, old school RPGs, point and click adventures, real-time strategy games, Those are the type of games that go there, that go well. The minimum backers, the minimum what they should get is the product. So no free to play. They'll hate you for free to play. They hated us for free to play, because we said at first, okay, it's going to be free to play, because within an MMO, some people play a lot, other people don't play so much. So with free to play, everybody can be on the same level. But they stoned us for that. So we changed the whole model to a Guild Wars style model after the first week, and suddenly the pledges went up. So don't go with free to play, because they will go, why should I pay now for a game that will be free afterwards? That's the logic. And so, yeah, it just won't work. Have a simple reward structure. The simpler, the better. If you think it's simple enough, make it simpler. Really. If people go and see, what will I get? Will I get this? Too complicated, they go away. I mean, it's pretty much like in free-to-play with payment options. Every click, every thought is too much already. Balance digital and physical tiers, and calculate manufacturing cost and shipping. So basically, usually people will get T-shirts, will get statuettes, will get, you know, box products, all of that, and usually that will be 15 to 20% of what you get, of the money you'll get. Plus, what's really, really important is the packing and the shipping. If your reward structure is like, okay, you can have whatever you want. Take this T-shirt, the red one, then have this statuette, then that, and then package it and send it. If you have 10,000 packers, you have to make 10,000 packages and send it, and all pack them. And that, if you don't want to do it yourself, it's really, really expensive. So really, do the math beforehand. Look at it. What will it cost? Where can I send it from? And then go for it. The most popular tiers are $25, $50. $50 is the standard. So that's what most people are willing to give. 100 to 50 and 500. Also have some really high ones. We had a 10,000 tier with a rockstar. So he will be the rockstar in the Shadowrun world. So we will make a song just for him. He'll appear in many ads in the game world, presenting products in the year 2070. So he will be one of the most important persons, basically, in the year 2070. And well, he paid $10,000 for that. So have that available, but these are the most common ones. Also, have pictures of your swag. We started off with just describing what they get, and that turned out to be a real problem. So once we had that up, really showing, okay, that is what the bag is going to look like, that is what the miniature is going to look like, it will go up. Show, don't tell. For example, when we put up the bag, we had 3 times the number of pledges on that day than before, just because we showed the bag. But actually, it's just a concept image. We just took a black bag off the internet and painted the Shadowrun logo on top of it. But very likely it will look like that. But don't really overthink it. Just bring it out. This is a bag. This is how it's going to look like. But show it. That's the important thing. Why will somebody invest in your things? So they need to trust in your skill. So they should believe you can do it. And you also should have the passion to make the product. So basically, they will only invest in your product after you've invested in it. So how to get this? Ideally, you're one of the old guys like Tim Schafer or Jordan Weissman, and just go up and say, hey, I'm gonna make a game. It's gonna look a little bit like this. And everybody will go, we trust this guy. This guy has a history of successful product, so here's my money, take it. If you don't have that, then it's great if your team was part of a successful product, or you have a known brand. We had Shadowrun, so that helped tremendously. But also the Carmageddon guys. They said, okay, we're the team, or some part of the team who did the original Carmageddon. We're going to do another Carmageddon game. And people said, okay, we're going to trust you. If you don't have that as well, then get endorsements. Get endorsements from people who then say, okay, these guys rock. So, and people will go, okay, I don't know these guys, so I don't trust them, but I trust this guy, and that guy trusts them, so I trust them. So it's a little bit complicated, but it works. And the minimum is show game footage. So don't just go up and say, yeah, I have this idea of a game and it will be a little bit like this. But really, if you're not one of these veteran figures, then you really need to show what the people will get. Build the trust by really showing something that looks really cool. Make a video, make a promo video, fake some gameplay footage, all of that. But the people need to see what the game's going to look like. The video. The video is the most important tool. People don't read text and make up their mind really quickly. So much that only 35% of the people watch it to the end. So whatever you want to tell them, tell it at the beginning. Because people will turn off after 30 seconds, 1 minute. Only 35% watch it to the end. The main audience is American, so have it presented by an American. We started off with, well, us being Austrian, we started off with not so bad English, but you could still hear that we're not Native Americans, and people were going like, where are they from? That sounds strange. And we don't trust people that sound strange. We then produced more videos with a Hollywood actor who happened to be in Vienna at the time, so we got him really cheap for a couple of €100. But suddenly, oh, they have that guy, I understand him, so great, here's my money. It's kind of sad, but have at least a narrator. So show yourself, but have a narrator. Yeah. There was, yeah. Well, it was more a difference of trust. Yeah, but there was a difference. So show yourself. If your English is not too good, say a couple of sentences, but have the rest narrated by an American, for example. Also important, be able to explain your game in 1 paragraph maximum. It's like a publisher pitch, and very much like in the previous session where he said, have an elevator pitch, have 1 sentence that really describes your game. You need to have that for Kickstarter as well. And also prepare to show more videos. So don't just put everything into the first one and then you have nothing to show for the upcoming videos. Prepare to show more. Using the right channels, because a lot of backers are older, 30 plus, they don't trust typical media. So they don't go to GameSpot, they don't go to IGN, they go to stuff like Kotaku or Blues News. So you will have a lot more people from those blogs than from the typical gaming sites. Word of mouth trumps anything else. Have a Facebook page ready, have a Twitter page ready, make everybody subscribe to those pages, and tell your people that they should share the information, that you need more and more, and even to a degree where you can be a real pain in the ass, but do it. It really pays off. Suddenly you get over the certain threshold of numbers of people who see it, and then suddenly it just spreads. And you need to get there. Discovery on Kickstarter is a big part. Kick track. So if you're well prepared and your campaign starts really well, you're on Kick track, which is like a leaderboard. And people will also come from there to invest in your project. Performance marketing does very little. We tried it with a couple of hundreds of euros, so it's just too complicated and people won't really trust it. So other discovery possibilities are much better. Press is great initially, but yeah, very limited during the campaign because usually magazines will only write once about your Kickstarter project and not 5 times. And here's one of the most important things. Build a community before you go on Kickstarter. Don't just have a product nobody knows, and then here's the Kickstarter thing. But build up the momentum. Get a web page. Get people really excited about your project beforehand. There have been some studies that if you have, I think, 10 Facebook friends or fans of your product, then the likeliness of success is, I think, 4% or 2%. Then if you have 100, it's 8%. And if you have 1,000, it's 40%. So somewhere there is the sweet spot. Get the people first, not afterwards or during the campaign, because during the campaign it's too late. As I said before, have a Facebook and company product webpage ready and polished, because people will immediately, when they see your project, they'll go onto your webpage, and if that's not polished, they will go like, if they can't really make a polished webpage, how will they be able to make a polished game? So have that ready, have that done. Constant tweeting in Facebook actions, or you get drowned. Prepare banners, Facebook avatars, and other images for your backers. So make people really part of your campaign. Make them shout out for you. And also create incentives to bring in friends. So what we did was, for every guy who brings in another friend, will get a special miniature on top of that, just because the normal reality thing. So whatever works for normal free-to-play games also works for Kickstarter campaigns. Press. Have a press mailing list before you go on Kickstarter. Our current publisher that we're working with, Gamigo, was so nice to give us their mailing list. So we had a couple of contacts, but also prepare before that you have that list ready. Have exclusive material for the press, especially if you want press during the campaign. Offer them a 24 hours lead, for example. So you say, okay, if you write about us, you'll have this information 24 hours, or this picture 24 hours before everybody else. Find out the most influential blogs and people on Twitter for your project, and get them also excited about the project beforehand. We also had help from a couple of people from Hollywood, and that helps. If somebody tweets about your project who has 2.5 million followers, it helps, of course. Craft proper press releases, not just write, hey, Kickstarter out. Really have the full, there's a certain way how press releases are made. Follow that. Also write something that's newsworthy and interesting to the readers. Just that there's a game out there is maybe not interesting enough. So try to think, okay, is there some spin to it? Could this be something interesting that would interest the people? And do it through that. And also always have new visuals. Just have new screenshots available during the campaign. Community work, I've talked about that early. The press brings them in, but community work makes them stay. Give them special access to background information and material, answer messages and comments 24/7. That's most important. Have somebody, it will really, you will sleep afterwards. There won't be any sleep during those 4 weeks. Listen to the community and be thankful and respect your backers. They are the ones who make it happen. They are the ones who invest in your product. So really welcome them and give them the thanks they deserve. So the summary, prepare, have a fitting product and use the right channels, design the rewards with your audience in mind. If you're a fan of your own product, think of what you would like to have from that brand. Get the word out to get the people in, care about your community, and expect to do nothing else during the campaign. It's just hard work. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, that was really great. Есть у кого-нибудь вопросы? Just a second.
Hello, thank you. It was very interesting. My question is, how many people participated in the promotion of the campaign? Yes, in the marketing and promotion.
Currently with I'm doing that next to 100,000 of other things, but that's something with the Kickstarter thing. Now we can self-publish our first game, and now we'll get more and more into the marketing side of things. But for the campaign, we did all ourselves.
How many people?
It was me and my business partner Jan. Yeah, so 2 people.
More questions?
Hi, I'm Livio Quintavalli from Truly Social. we're developing a game called Flirt Planet, and we're thinking about doing a Kickstarter campaign. We're just wondering how much actual profit did you make from the 588?
Well, that's fairly easy to say. 558 minus 10% for Kickstarter and for Amazon payments, so that's 500. Then about 20% for swag because we gave it out a lot. So it is $400,000.
What about, I mean, you had to, I don't know, to make that US company, you had to have an office where those people were sitting?
Yeah, well, but that's our usual. That's what we usually do. So our company is self-contained, and the expenses for the whole campaign were around 15,000 euro. Although it was quite cheap because one of our lead game designers does in his free time does a lot of movies. So he had a whole movie crew at his hand and could support us with that. So we got it really cheap. If you're really going for a little bit more expensive one, or if you have audio, if you have a great camera, if you have a good editing, it will cost. So there were now the last couple of really successful projects on Kickstarter, like Planetary Annihilation. I think when I saw that video, that was a $50,000-$60,000 video, I'd say. So, but if you want, if you aim for 2.5 million, then of course it's worth it. But if you can only aim for like 10,000, I think you spend more. But if it's a smaller project, then it doesn't pay off. The making the company in the US isn't, like I said, 2,500 euros around that.
How much did you spend on Facebook, on ads, and how did you build that community?
We spent nothing on Facebook ads because it doesn't work.
What works?
Really word of mouth. So
How? I mean, so they're like you have 300 friends, okay, so but you just post something and then you have 1,000 fans after just...
Well, that's what I said before. What do you need to be successful? If you have, but if you have the name, either the name of somebody, or you have the brand. For us, it was of course the brand that helped us tremendously because they saw, okay, Shadowrun, okay, I want to be part of Shadowrun. But we tried to get press beforehand, so we were featured on Kotaku in October 2011. Yeah, we already have 12. So we tried to get press beforehand. We tried, like I said, we tried to get bloggers and people from the press excited about a project beforehand, and we showed it to them. We gave them exclusive interviews. They covered us. People came to our Facebook page, and so we had about 1,000 people when the campaign took off, and now we have, I don't know, 2,800 or 3,000. So it then adds up.
Okay, so networking is everything as usual.
Yeah.
Все решают связи.
Plus, one thing I'd have to say, the good thing about Kickstarter is also, and something that is you can't pay with money, are two things. First, you find out about your audience in the best possible way. Because if you ask people out there, how should I make my game? Should I do it like this or should I do that? Everybody has an opinion and will write about it. Yeah, you should make it like this. But these people, they've already paid for it. So you can be sure that these people are definitely going to be customers. They're not just talking. They underline their opinion with the money. So we thought, when we started, we have a certain audience, but it turned out to be completely different. And without the Kickstarter, we would have never known. And would have only found out when the game was released, which is quite late.
Thank you. Есть еще вопросы? Наверное, нет. Тогда давайте поблагодарим Майкла. Thank you so much. It was very interesting.